Yeah, there it is. Okay, so now people should be able to hear me. Hello, everybody. Let me make sure that this is set to the right thing. It's set to headphones. Okay, Wrist, go ahead and say something. Yeah, we're live. Okay. All right, so I'm not seeing audio from you guys on here, which is annoying. Why am I not seeing audio from you guys on here? You have to switch this back to... That's weird. How do I turn that off? Okay, well, they can hear me at least. So hi, everybody. I hope everyone's doing well. We should be getting started here in just a moment. I've just got to be able to enable the audio from everybody else. So give me just 1 second here. I'll have that figured out. Okay, headphones, check. Got that plugged into headphones. And let me just be able to enable real quick the audio from everybody else. So give me just 1 second here. I'll have that figured out. And okay, headphones. Check. Okay, so yeah, that's all there. Okay, so let me turn that sound back off. So Wrist, on your end, you can hear the music and you can hear me, I assume, from the stream. The Discord. Okay. Yeah, just to check real quick. And then, Neo, what did you just say a second ago? Yeah. So I've got OBS up. I've got an audio source for desktop audio, which is currently the background music. And then I've got an audio source for my headset, which is supposed to be you guys. Okay, so I could just... It's probably because I have it really down low. So let's turn that up. Okay. So that just got turned up. And then desktop audio properties. Let me try changing this to something else, I guess. Right, headset.
Yeah.
Ooh,
you can...
Worked. Okay, good. That worked.
Okay, cool. All
right, so I think that might be a little bit loud. I'm turning you down slightly. All right, so let me just see. So I can hear myself. I can hear Neo. Neo, can you say something real quick?
Hello.
All right, let me just see what headset's like.
Yeah.
Ooh,
you can...
Worked. Okay, good. That worked. Okay,
cool.
Good. Everyone can be heard. I'm going to turn you guys down just a little bit more, down to 6. Anyone listening, if you don't like where the audio is at for one of us, just let me know and we will fix that.
Alrighty.
And there we go. Okay, so I think we're ready to get started. Hello, everybody. Welcome to this special stream. My first time doing a non-VPET related video on this channel. So hopefully you like it. If so, I'll do more of these. If not, I will probably still do more of these because this is going to be fun. So we're working today in this little program you can see on your screen here. Let me turn off this here little getting started guy. We're working this program today. Now you're looking at this program, a lot of text, lots of this. I swear I'm not doing any taxes here. That's not what this is. This is Lackey. Lackey is a program used to play card games online. And there is a specific plugin for playing the digital monster card game, specifically the Hyper Colosseum rule set with the other players online. And it's really cool. If you were not from Japan, you probably didn't play the Digimon card game a lot because it was not really well supported outside of Japan. There were several iterations, several attempts, and none of them really took off, unfortunately, due to a variety of reasons. But the card game in Japan was pretty strong, had a lot of tournaments, had a lot of cool stuff going on with it. And what this is this is an attempt to make all those cards, not even an attempt, a successful attempt, to take all those Japanese cards, give us translated versions, courtesy of the stats from Wikimon, and just allow us to actually play the game online. So first thing you would need is Lackey itself. That's what this program is. You could download it. There's a link in the description here to a place where you can get all the different downloads and everything. There's a link to a Discord server there. So you need Lackey. You need to download the plugin. And once you have the plugin, you'll just, let's see, right here. You'll just go into your Lackey folder on your computer, that wherever you extract it to. You'll go to plugins. You'll make a folder for Digimon Hyper Colosseum, and you'll throw all the content right into there. My face cam's frozen. That's cool. I wonder why that is. Let's just try restarting it. Logitech. This camera sucks. This is why I don't do face cam often. We'll turn that off for right now. So anyway, so this is where you paste all the plugin information, and once you got that pasted in, it's just you open up Lackey, and there's a lot of things to look at. So this is kind of why I want to explain where you go at this point. There's a tab for plugins. You click on that. You choose to browse installed plugins to load one, and you'll see as long as you have restarted this since you pasted that in, then Digimon Hyper Colosseum will appear. You click on that. You choose to open it up, and hitting that choose button right there. I already got it loaded. And then there's also a quick little URL you'll paste right here to update the plugin as well. And once you do all that, you've got everything you need to play the game, so you're ready to make yourself a deck and you're ready to start fighting other people. So today with me, I've got a few people. I have Neo Ness. Neo Ness, introduce yourself. Tell us why you're here.
Hello, I'm here because I love Digimon and I like card games.
There you go. And we also have, I've never said your name out loud, Wrist. I normally just, like, in my head, call you Wrist. How should I pronounce your name? Wrist, are you there? Okay, Wrist is here.
Yeah, I'm here.
There you
Okay.
go. Okay.
It is Wrist. You pronounce it right.
Okay, cool. I don't need to pronounce the Linux. Is it just pronounced like
Linux, but just Wrist.
Okay, cool. So we'll just call you Wrist on this for the purposes of this. So
yeah.
So what we're going to do is we're going to show off how a standard game of this should go. And there are a lot of places to get the rules from. They're a little bit confusing at first and hard to follow unless you like read them over and over again and ask a lot of questions. So hopefully we can make it a little bit easier on you on your first time. We'll show you the general progression of the game and we'll go from there. So first thing you would need is a deck. So I've made us a couple decks for the purposes of this. These are not exactly good decks, I wouldn't say. I actually do have a really good deck, but it's a terrible deck to learn from because it uses all sorts of stuff and a bunch of overpowered cards, and yeah, it's not that great as a learning tool. So I've made myself a little Deep Savers deck here, and you can see in Lackey that as you mouse over each of these, that you can see a picture of the card on the left, and if you hold down the tilde button on your keyboard, it'll give you the details of that card in English. Now, you can have it so that the text overlays the card, but it takes over a lot of the card, and I don't particularly like it there all the time. But if you do, that is an option, so you don't have to constantly hold down this button on your keyboard. And as you can see here, I've got a wide variety of sea creatures, and I've got a few option cards in here. The main rules for building your deck, there's really only two major rules you need to follow, and that is you cannot have more than 3 cards with the same name, and you cannot, or rather you have to have at least one level 3 Digimon. So in my case, I've got a Gomamon in here, wherever he is. I don't know, he's in here somewhere. At least he better be. Why can't I see him? Oh, there he is. I just rolled down. Okay, so I got a Gomamon in here. He's my level 3. And I have several cards. Some of them have the same name, but no more than 3 do. In fact, no more than 2 do in this case. You'll also see that some cards have different art. Those still count as the same name. These are both Zudomon, so this counts as 2 Zudomon. So I can only have 1 more Zudomon in this deck. Alright, so once you have your deck ready, then it's time to hit up the server. And you'll see I've got Humulus's game right here that I am currently hosting. So, Neo, are you ready to go?
Yes, I can load the deck anytime.
Excellent. So, in fact, you're already in here. Oh, look at that. You're already there. I've got everyone else is in there. Perfect. All right.
Yeah, I think I'm home.
Oh, perfect.
But I can't see any cards.
Okay, so I haven't loaded any cards yet, so you shouldn't see any of my
Okay.
cards yet. So
Okay.
that's where the first step is going to come in here. So I'm going to go ahead and just right-click on my name here. I'm going to say load recent deck, and I'm going to choose gomaexample.dek. And you'll see here my net ocean has now filled up to 30, which is great. That's how many cards you're allowed to have in a deck, which is the other rule I forgot to mention. That's the third most important thing about building a deck, I guess. And that means we are ready to start the actual game. So step 1 is we have to find our level 3 Digimon card. So we're going to reveal all. We're going to reveal to owner all on the net ocean. Hey, and there's Gomamon right there. So I'm going to turn him over because I don't want Neo to see him. Neo's not supposed to know that I'm about to put down Gomamon, but obviously he knows for the purposes of this. So we both put down a level 3 right there on the Digimon box. You notice there's 3 Digimon boxes here. There is a variant of the game that allows for 3 Digimon at once, but for this demonstration, we're going to just be playing by the Hyper Colosseum rules, where you use 1 Digimon on each side. So now that I have chosen my level 3 Digimon, I will turn all my cards back over. So reveal to owner, none, and shuffle. There we go. So my deck is now shuffled. And at this point in the game, there is this, you can't see it on here, but there's a point marker. We start with 100 points each. Now we have a visualization of it here on the left where it says point gauge 100. That's kind of what we're using as the point marker here. But for the purposes of following the rules of the original game, we have to take the top card of our net ocean and put it onto the point marker. So we're just going to click this little point marker button here to do just that. Unfortunately, that card is now out of the game for this entire battle. So we can't use it. Whatever it was is not available to us. So hopefully it wasn't something good that we needed. Of course, I feel like everything in this deck I needed, so it's something that I wanted. All right, so that brings my net ocean down to 28, and these are the cards I will be working with. So the next thing we'll be doing is we will go ahead and each draw our 6 cards. So there is a handy little draw 6 button right down here. All right, if I go to my hand,
Cool.
there we go. So there's my 6 cards. So not a great starting hand, to be 100% honest with you, but it will might pay off some later. We got lots of we do have a lot of good things in here, just not as good as I was hoping for. Neo, I don't know if you fared any better.
I didn't see the draw 6 button.
Yeah, that's the fun thing, is no matter what, there's always going to be like something you don't know in Lackey that's like, it makes everything a lot easier, but it's just not obvious. So it's yeah, the draw 6 button is not obvious. It's down there above the chat box, whereas the rest of the icons you use are up there below the playmat.
So where is the draw 6 button?
So the draw 6 button, if we look down at the bottom of Lackey, there's a little chat box where I could be talking to Neo right now. But
okay, I got it.
You got
so
it.
There's a like plus button there.
Yes. Oh, yeah. I guess that's true. Yeah, you can expand that. I didn't realize. I don't know if that's expanded or not by default, but yes. So I've expanded it, and there's a draw 6 button.
For me.
Yeah, mine is not. So
Interesting. I must have figured that out like much earlier then, because it's been a while and I do not remember. So yeah, there you go. So good point. If it's not expanded for you, hit that plus button, because
okay.
yeah, I would not have thought of that.
And
All
just
right.
so you guys know, we cannot see any of your cards, like, as spectators.
Yes, as spectators, you are completely oblivious to this. That's another nice thing about Lackey, is if you want to spectate a game, you can allow people to do so without having to worry about them sharing what cards you have with the other player. So it's a nice little thing there. Those of you watching the stream, however, can absolutely see all my cards, which, no screen cheating, any of you. But if you do, I don't care. This is just for the purposes of demonstration. So, all right. So then the next step is we just have to figure out who goes first, which if we were actually playing Hyper Colosseum as 10-year-old children in a Japanese school, we would have to do that by playing rock, paper, scissors with each other. That is the official rule. But that's not as easy to do across the world from each other. So instead, there's a handy little flip coin button right here that we're going to use. So Neo, heads or tails?
Tails.
Tails. All right. Flip the coin. It is tails. So Neo, you get to go first.
Hey. All right.
All right. So what Neo's going to do first is he's got his preparation phase here, and this is where he'll look through his hand, be like, okay, first of all, do I like my hand? And if he doesn't, he's going to discard several cards from his hand. So I'm going to let him go ahead and take over his steps from here.
All right. So, since this deck was kind of given to me, I'm gonna just take a minute to read through what I got.
I should mention, yeah, Neo has not looked through his deck yet because he just got it about like 15 minutes ago. So, yeah, I guess I should.
From what I can tell, my hand is pretty good. But say if I didn't like a certain card that I had, you can. What's the term for it? Is it mulligan?
In this case, I guess it would be cycling. As in, you would discard a certain number of cards, and then you would draw back up to whatever number of cards you would need to get back up to 6.
Correct. All right. But I'm good, so that passes it on to you, right?
So you'll finish your preparation phase up first. This is something where I have heard like differing rules on. Some people say that you do the preparation phases in turn from one another. Other people say you do them simultaneously, which I don't know that there's really necessarily an advantage to either way. But the only copy of the rules that I have shows that it's in turn. So for this demonstration at least, we'll be going that way. So you would then, at that point, if you have all the cards you want, you could choose to switch out your level 3, and then you would place any evolution cards that you want, or any Digimon that you want to evolve into in the evolution box. And the fun part of that is that we're able to put as many evolution cards as we want in the evolution box, as long as we can meet the requirements for them. So you can go all the way from a level 3 Digimon all the way up to Ultimate in one turn, if you are able to do so.
Okay. So we're gonna put one down there.
Okay. And at this point, as you can see, Neo's putting them face down. He's not supposed to let me know what they are as of yet. That is a secret surprise. Also put in whatever the requirements for evolution are in that power charge box. I don't think it's called... Is it called power charge on the original mat? I'm not sure. But
slot
it's
1
called power charge here.
And slot 2 for option cards.
Mm-hmm. And those option cards he's playing there, those are something that will most likely activate during the battle phase. And they will probably power up his Digimon to do something differently.
Granted, I've only
if he so
played
chooses to play.
this maybe 2 times.
Do what 2 times, sorry?
Are people talking? Hello?
Hello. Neo, can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
I think Neo may not be able to hear us. I'll go ahead and write that to him. We can hear you. Wrist, you can hear me, right?
Okay. Humulus, I think I can't hear you for some reason.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do what 2 times, sorry?
I think your mic died or something.
People talk.
Okay, so it looks like my mic is still live on the stream, but the people in Discord cannot hear me. So give me 1 second. We're just going to
can't
change
hear Humulus in the
Humulus.
chat.
Yeah.
Okay, can you guys hear me now?
Yes, we
Yeah.
can.
Okay,
Cool.
you're back.
I don't know why that happened because my mic is still going on the stream, it looks like. So I just switched you to a different mic. Discord's a little weird when it comes to this, huh? I gotta
Yes, it is.
I gotta get better at that. So let me just make sure you guys are both still.
So the last thing I heard was me saying I think that was the end of my prep phase.
Okay, cool. So so right now you've got 2 option cards placed. I explained that to the viewers as well. So your evolution card, what you'll also need to do at this point is whatever requirements you have for that evolution card, those will need to go into the power charge box in order for that evolution to take place during the evolution phase. So go ahead and put whatever those are there now.
Okay.
And if it's the case of where you need regular or irregular growth, which is those little circles and X's, just make sure when you're taking them out off the top of your net ocean that you hit the turnover button first so that we do not see them.
Okay, what if it's a option card?
So if it's an option card, then that option card, instead of being placed in one of the 3 slots, will get placed into the power charge box for use during evolution.
Ah.
That way it doesn't take up one of your slots, which is pretty nice.
I see.
Yeah. Or it might also go in that SE spot. I'm not sure. It doesn't really super matter at exactly where it goes because the same thing will happen regardless. So.
I'm not actually sure what that SE slot is for.
I think it might be like I'm assuming the E might actually stand for evolution, but regardless,
Okay.
I've been putting it in the power charge this whole time, and the way it will activate will be the same. So you're done with your preparation. You've got a power option card down. You've got an evolution card down along with its requirement. So then you're done with the prep phase. That leaves it on to me. So I don't think I particularly would like to keep the Digimon I have in this hand, or not necessarily Digimon, but just cards. So I'm going to go ahead and cycle a few of these because I want to get something that will help me out more. So just, there we go. Okay, so that one would require me to have those things, which I have this guy. That one doesn't help me much. We're discarding that. So we'll send it to the top of the dark area. That's our discard pile. This guy is super useful. We're keeping that. We're keeping this. And as for these three, while they are pretty useful, I probably don't need to keep all three for right now. So we're going to discard this one. All right, so I've discarded 2 cards. At this point, I can also choose to discard any option cards I have down that I don't want to use, but I don't have any of those down right now. So I am now going to draw back up to 6. We're just going to hit draw cards twice in this case. And, well, that's not great. So that's a bit of a bummer. All right, that's fine. We'll be able to work with this. So at this point, where did my green go? There it is. All right, so at this point, I'm done with my... Actually, no, that's not true. I'm not done with my preparation because I need to play these options. So we're going to turn over this guy right here. And we're going to put him in option card slot 1. And we're going to put down this one. And put that in option slot 2. And that's all we're going to place in the option slots right now. Now, the order in which you place these things does matter. If there are any points to calculate, they'll be calculated in order from left to right. And while that wouldn't matter in a lot of cases, it does matter in cases where you're, let's say you add 50 to your power and then double it. Well, that 50 would be there before you double it, which is better than it being there after you double it. So keep that in mind as you place your option cards. You don't necessarily have to activate them in order, but once they are activated, they will calculate in order. So right. I'm done with my preparation phase. Now that we're both done with that, we both turn over the level 3 Digimon that we have down. So I'm going to right click that and hit turn over. And there we go. I've got a Gomamon. He's got Gabumon. And yeah, pretty normal Digimon. Pretty good starter stuff. So now we move on to the evolution phase. So Neo, it's your turn first. So you will be the one to, first of all, obviously I don't have anything to evolve to anyway. So in this case it wouldn't matter. But so Neo will now go ahead, reveal his evolution, reveal his requirement for it. So proceed with that.
So I flip over Garurumon, and then I reveal that I have a Digivice that allows a level 3 Digimon into a level 4 Digimon without evolution requirements. Like, you can ignore it. And it adds 50 to your attack power. Does that add 50 just apply for one turn?
Yes. Yes, as long as that card exists, that 50 will be there. And since this card will be sent to the dark area at the end of the turn, it will cease to do anything at that point. So, okay. So there you go. So you have that. So that stays out for right now. And so he's got Garurumon. At this point, if I had something in my evolution box, I would decide whether or not I want to follow through with it. I can choose to not evolve after seeing his thing if I think that'll put me at an advantage. In this case, it does not matter. So now the evolution's complete. And he's got Garurumon out. I've got Gomamon out. So we move on to the battle phase. Now, at this point, if we had any Digimon that had appearance requirements, we'd be able to play those now. Neither of these decks have that. That's a later thing that came up a lot more with appearance requirements, so we don't have any of that at the moment. And then any abilities or effects that activate at the start of a battle occur, starting at the player's second to attack, which in this case is me. And this includes playing a support Digimon. Now, I don't have any special abilities. If I mouse over Gomamon right here and hold down the button, his ability is underwater, but that doesn't do anything by itself. That can only be affected by other cards. And I don't have any support Digimon down, nor do I have any in my hand to play. So now we look at our powers. So the first important thing to look at here is your opponent's battle type and your battle type. So if I'm looking at Garurumon here, his battle type is A, and that's the big red A in the top left. That tells me what attack Gomamon will be using, which in this case is, well, it doesn't say it on here, but it's Marching Fishes, as anyone who watched the show would know. So his Marching Fishes against an A-type Digimon does 360 points. That doesn't do damage. I was going to say damage, but damage isn't a thing in Digimon. It's just whatever number is bigger than the other. So So he's got
Hold on
360.
1 sec.
Sure.
So I'm gonna ask a question. So for a Digivice, you can evolve any level 3 to any level 4, correct?
Excluding the requirements.
Right. So go ahead.
So it says ignore the evolution requirements and evolve your level 3 Digimon into a level 4 Digimon. Oh, that's actually a good question. Does that mean any level 3 to any level 4 without like it being like without the name written on the top for the level 4?
The answer to that is yes, absolutely. If you had a card that didn't evolve from Gabumon, you would absolutely be able to play any other level 4 Digimon that you had. It doesn't matter if it says Gabumon or not. The only exception, and Hobo Joe in the chat does bring this up, is that it can't be for fusion or appearance requirements, since those are not technically evolution. This will only work for actual evolutions, as shown in the evolution box. So if it's an appearance, you can't use Digivice, but otherwise, yeah, go nuts. Put whatever adult you want on top of whatever child you want, and that will work just fine.
Very cool.
All right. So going back to Gomamon here, so he's got 360 against Garurumon, but if we look at Garurumon, he is also fighting a Type A. Gomamon is a Type A, and so we use his Type A attack, which is 420, and obviously 420 is bigger than 360. So as it stands right now, Garurumon would be able to win this battle if I don't play any option cards. So the second player to attack, which is me, chooses one option card to play, and so I'm going to look at this. I have a plugin. What is this? Offense plugin A, and I have a high speed plugin B. What these will do for me is they will let me switch my attack type to either A or B, regardless of the opponent's attack type, or battle type rather. Now, the thing is Gomamon's strongest thing already is his A, so playing either of these would be basically useless in this scenario. No matter what, I'm gonna lose, and I can't do anything else from my hand. Not that it would matter anyway, because these cards all require being down in the option boxes in order to be used. So I cannot. I can't do anything, basically. So I would now pass play over to Neo, who would then choose whether or not they want to play any option cards. And Neo, do you want to play any option cards?
No, I do not.
And that's a good choice.
Do you mind if I say something real quick?
Go for it, please do.
It might be too much information at once, but if one of those option cards that you did have allowed you to use the C attack, then things would have gotten a little different.
You want to know the funny thing about that? Is I discarded a defense plugin C. I discard. Clearly, I should have gotten rid of the B. I wasn't thinking properly. So yes, that's a great point.
So for those watching, if he would have used the C attack instead, if you look at the Japanese text or a translated text, it says all your opponent's A attack is turned to 0. It's like a defense, but you still have a power point. So basically, my 470 Foxfire would have been turned to 0 against his defense of 110, and his rookie would have won, or level 3, sorry.
Yeah, you're good.
And that's essentially how this game rolls. I mean, you don't have to be on the same level like as
My audio just cut out. Sorry, everybody. I'm just switching to a different thingy. I don't know why my audio just cut out, but the stream looks like it's still going, so... Sorry, let's turn this on. Okay. Let's change this to... Oh, can't hear them there. Bother. Sorry, everyone. Hang tight for 1 second. Just having a little bit of technical difficulties. And that's still connected. So why can't I hear it? Testing. Can anyone hear me? Okay, so let's do this. Let's unplug this. Plug that back in. And let's switch this over to... Okay, so I should be able to hear them now if I switch to that. Let's see. Okay, can you guys hear me? I can't hear you. Okay. Let's ear. That one? That? Okay, try saying something now. Nope, can't hear you there either. Sorry, this is annoying, I'm sure, for everyone watching this. Okay, try now. Nope. Sorry, everyone, I'm trying here. This is not great. We're just gonna leave this call real quick. I'm just gonna do a quick test. See if that helps. And did that help?
Testing.
No.
Testing.
Okay, right now.
Might just need to get another headset out.
Testing.
Alright, I'm just gonna put up a quick BRB message here. Sorry. Be back in 3. Okay. And I'm gonna turn off my mic for just a moment while I figure this out.
I can hear you. Oh, wait. It's working now?
Can't hear
Yeah.
us through his headset.
What's type that in the chat. Now I can't hear anything on this stream.
Yes.
Yeah.
Can you hear us? Okay. So the stream could hear us, but you couldn't
Yeah,
hear
the
us.
stream could hear us.
Can't. Hello, testing.
Type that in the chat.
On. My mic's back on. Alright, we're back. Okay. Sorry about that, everybody. What you get for trying a new
I guess
headset
the
for the
audio's
first
still on.
time without properly testing it. That was a rookie mistake. Alright,
It's all good.
so we're back there. I'm just going to turn you guys up slightly so I can actually hear you properly.
So last episode of Digimon, Garurumon had this vicious battle against Gomamon.
And it ended very poorly for Gomamon.
Yes.
Alright, so yeah, there we go. So that's where we're at. So, no one's playing any option cards. Garurumon is at 470 right now because of the Digivice and because he's already at 420 anyway. I didn't keep my C card like I should have, and so this is where we do the point calculation. So the way it works is that Garurumon defeated me, and the amount of points that I lose depends on the enemy Digimon's level. So in this case, he's a level 4. So I look at the bottom of Gomamon's card here, and it says loss point for a level 4 is 10. So I come over to my point gauge, click on it, and hit -10. I'm at 90 now. And there we go. So that's done. So at this point, any cards that say they get thrown away at the end of the turn are sent to the dark area. So in this case, that would just be Neo's Digivice over there. And if a Digimon lost the battle and isn't just a level 3, then any cards on top of that Digimon would then be discarded. So Gomamon didn't evolve or anything, so he's still just there. The level 3s never get discarded at any point in the game. So, now that turn is over, we proceed. The person who won the turn will go first in the next round. So that's still Neo. So nothing changed right there. And at this point, we go through with our preparation phases once again. So, Neo, you may go ahead and do your preparation phase.
Okay, before the prep phase, did you say I had to discard Garurumon?
No, that's just if you had lost. So you're good with your Garurumon for right now. If I had beaten him, then yes, you would have had to discard him, but no, he is safe for now.
Cool. Alright, so in the prep phase, to start off, you draw until you reach 6 again, right?
Well, first, before you draw, you're going to go ahead and discard again at this point. So you'll look at your hand, decide if there's any you want to get rid of, and then you'll draw back up to 6.
Oh, I always thought it was like draw 6 again, then, okay. Alright, no. I will keep my hand. We'll go ahead and draw 3.
Just Jake asks while you're doing that, is this a new game? It is not. So this is Hyper Colosseum, and Rist is probably laughing right now because we were talking about that before, about how people might get confused and think we're talking about the new game. But no, this is Hyper Colosseum, or rather, this is a digital monster card game, and we're playing with Hyper Colosseum rules. And this is the original one that came out back in 1999 in Japan. And as you can see, it is the Japanese version of it. The new game will be coming out in April. And I don't know, Neo, have you already ordered cards for that one?
Not yet, but I'm wanting to.
Yeah. I know Rist and I both ordered all 3 starters as well as a booster box. So we're kind of going crazy about it. I don't even know if it's going to be fun yet, but, whatever. New Digimon cards. That's always fun.
And the art looks fantastic on
it. Does. It's nice to, okay, I will say this, I love the old school Bandai art on all these cards in Hyper Colosseum, okay? I love it. I don't care how many times I see them. I just love the style so much. And that being said, I like that the new cards will be entirely new art, because the Bandai art does get overused. It is used with pretty much everything. I mean, that's all I use on my website, for example, so I look at it all freaking day long. But it's nice to actually have some new art going on, which is all very beautiful. I'm looking forward to seeing more of the non-adventure stuff, because right now pretty much everything they've shown has just been from Digimon Adventure's main characters, especially Taichi and Yamato. But they've already teased some lesser used Digimon like Kokuamon and Leomon will be in there, so I'm excited to see more of them.
So with so during my prep phase, I'm looking at this card here. Now, since we're just demonstrating, I'm going to go ahead and put it on the board.
Good old Pumpmon.
He says that he needs a Jogrez evolution. Could I use this tag to bypass that? Or since it's a Jogrez evolution, is that a special?
Nope, so Jogresses can be also bypassed with Digivices and Crests, so yeah, you can absolutely evolve straight into Pumpmon if you wanted to, even though he does require a Jogress, so that would absolutely be fine.
Okay. That was something I was personally unaware of.
Now, okay, so I gotta admit something here. I misled you before. So, but last time I told you, when you played the Digivice, that should be played in the Power Charge. Now, what I was thinking is that you were playing a winning percentage card or something like that. Those types of cards would indeed be played as Power Charges, and in that case, that would have been right. But the card that you're playing, the Digivice and the Crest, they're special, and I neglected to consider this. They do go in the power options like you initially had done your Digivice. Reason for that is because of the additional effects that they have. And if we look on the top left of any card, or any option card, you'll see a little icon on them. And the 2 I'm showing on my screen for the audience, the little bomb icons. And that means that they are items. So items go in that. Whereas if I look at this card here, it's got a little disc in the top left, and that would be an evolution card. So evolution cards are the types that can go in the power charge, whereas items will go in the power option slot. I bring that up now because the crest has a really cool, or I'm sorry, the tag has a really cool, no, is it? It's crest. It's crest or tag? Tag. The tag has a really cool secondary effect where you can add stuff onto it, so it stays in the option slots for the duration of as long as you want it to be there, basically. So that will either go in S1, 2, or 3, so it will not go in SE, since that's, like I said, I think that's reserved for evolution cards specifically, but I'm not sure. So you're, yeah, so that goes right there, so you're putting in S2, and yeah, I'm sorry for the confusion on that. That was my bad describing that one. So.
Oh, no, that's fine.
Cool. So you're doing that. Do you have any other option cards you want to put down?
I do actually. Now that you mention it.
While you're doing that, what's up, Tribble? We only get the first starter in 2 sets. I was only able to get more via online trades many years later. Yeah, that was the bummer. I did collect, and me and Tribble shared cards with each other over Twitter a lot. I did collect all of the American cards that came out for boosters 1, 2, and starter 1. Getting all the starter 1 cards is obviously not an achievement. Any one of you can do that right now for like $15 if you go on eBay. But the boosters, it took me a while, and I eventually did finally get them all, which was awesome.
I actually have boosters, most of booster 2 set, and the first starter set.
Oh, nice. Yeah, booster 2 is hard to come by. Everything. I especially had problems with Tailmon. That was the one that was specifically like really hard for me to find later on.
I'm having a problem with Myotismon.
All the gold
Booster
stamps.
2.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
those are. I guess it makes sense. They're gold stamps. They probably are rarer and more sought after.
I kick myself every day because I bought that Omegamon toy that came with that Omnimon card.
Oh,
that
the
was
really cool. Yeah, I know which one you're talking about.
in Japanese, Omnimon.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
And like if you read in Japanese, it says Omnimon. It doesn't say Omegamon.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it's I actually had that, and now like you look at it on eBay and people are trying to sell it for like $100, $200 or something.
Gosh.
I'm like,
Oh my
I kick
gosh.
myself all the time.
Okay, so you're done with your stage there, right? Your preparation stage?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So I'm going to go ahead and do mine. I will choose to discard this one right here, sitting at the top of my dark area. That leaves me with 3 cards in my hand, so I'll draw 3 more. Come on, I've got 6 adults in there. There's 2 of them. Excellent. This time I can evolve. All right, so... Ooh. So we're about to get to see something real special right now. So what I'm going to do here is, if you're looking at my hand on here, you'll see I've got 2 different adults I could choose from. And I'm going to pick the one that requires... Well, let's see, actually, they both look like they only require 1 card. Gomamon plus 0. Gomamon plus 0. So we'll go with this guy right here. So we're going to turn him over. And his requirement is 1 circle. And that means that I have to take 1 card off the top of my net ocean and play it face down vertically on my power charge area right here. That's going to be that requirement. I'm going back to my hand. And I'm going to move this guy. Actually, I'm going to move him like to the right, because that's kind of the order in which I'd want to do it. Okay, so this next guy here says here he can evolve from that guy that I just put down. And he would need a winning percentage 40% to be able to do so. Now, I don't have a winning percentage 40%, but I do have a winning percentage 60%. So I have the ability to play that one right there. And the only requirement is that in order to use this card, I choose 1 card from my hand and send it to the dark area. So that's fine. We're going to turn this guy over. And we're going to turn this guy over. And we're going to put him up here. And I'm going to put this right down here. Now, here comes the sad part, though, because I wasn't thinking about this at first. So I've got this guy. And he can evolve from that guy I just put down with a winning percentage 60%, which I don't have anymore, but I have this card. This card would allow me to evolve my Digimon with either winning percentage 60% or Jogger's evolution is the evolution requirement, and that would work. But I have to send one card from my hand to the dark area after doing that. So I can't actually meet... Well, I don't... Here's the thing. I got to double check that. I think that's a requirement. Like, if I can't send a card from my dark area, or from my hand to the dark area, I don't think I can play that card. I do have to look at that harder, because that's a little confusing to me. Like, in Magic, that would be fine, for example, because it wouldn't be the requirement, and if there's just no target, it doesn't matter. The card still gets played. Neo, I don't know. What do you think about that?
I'm following your lead.
That's the fun part, is none of us are quite professionals. Although there is someone on the Discord, Nighthawk, I believe, who played the WonderSwan color game, which is entirely in Japanese, so not feasible for a lot of us. But that really cleared up a lot of the rules with their like clarification on some things based on how the WonderSwan color game worked, because surprisingly that's the best source of rules we have, apparently. So yes, evolution phase. Send this card face down from your hand or slot to the evolution requirements box. So just to play it on the safe side, and because it will probably be a little bit more interesting overall, I'm not going to use this because just in case I'm not allowed to, not going to play it. And I'll get more clarification on that later. And again, the reason I'm not playing it is because it requires me to discard a card from my hand, and I won't have enough cards to discard from my hand because I'll have 0, which would make it essentially not usable. So we're going to leave that as it is for right now. And so I've got my 2 evolution cards down. I am not going to place this down here right now as an option, which again, it would go as an option since it has a bomb in the top left. I'm not going to place it as an option right now because I don't plan on using it. So at this point, the preparation phase for me is over, and we move on to the evolution phase with Neo choosing to do his evolutions first.
Yes. Let's see. We turn over Pumpmon, and then I use my tag here.
It is.
And the tag's description is: ignore the evolution requirements and evolve your level 4 Digimon into a perfect level Digimon. While this card remains in its slot until it's discarded by you, invalidated, or when your Digimon loses a battle or reaches the end of its lifespan. You may only use its effects on the turn that it was set.
So this card won't discard on its own. It will stay there unless you choose to discard it during your next prep phase. And the reason for that is, even though you won't be able to use its effect again, there is another card in your deck that you would be able to place on top of this for additional effect. So that's the fun thing about the tag right there. Alright, so Neo just discarded Garurumon because Garurumon is no longer needed. The funny thing is, you don't stack each Digimon on top of each other. You only put the most recent evolution on top and the level 3 card below it, and then that's it. Anything in between goes away. So that's what he's done there. So he's got Pumpmon, he's evolved, and that would make his evolution phase over, turning it over to me. And I, at this point, can choose not to evolve if I wanted to, but I do want to evolve, so I'm going to do that. So I'm going to turn over my first card, which is Ikakumon, right here. They'll go on top of Gomamon, and the card I used, which... That's an interesting bit. Lackey. Is Lackey showing me what this card is? I'm not supposed to know what this card is. I don't know if there's something I did wrong to make it show me. Like, it's still turned over, but the preview shows me what it is, so I might need to fix that. Either way, so I'm going to send this card without turning it over to the top of my dark area. There it goes. And then I will continue evolving into Zudomon. And I used a winning percentage 60% to do that, so I will need to discard a card from my hand. I am discarding Rukamon, sending that to the dark area, and I will do the same with the winning percentage card I used as well. So now I've got Zudomon. That means Ikakumon needs to go away too, leaving just Zudomon on top. Now real quick, I got some action in the chat going on here. First, to go back to Tribble's questions, the American only had the... Yeah, we only had the first starter and the 2 boosters, and then we got... After that point, we had, like, a attempt to do it again with different card backs and this gross CGI artwork that they did use in the
It
Japanese
was like
version,
a
but not so much
soft
later.
reboot.
But
Yeah.
it really looked disgusting, and I hated that it didn't have the same card back, so it was basically incompatible with Starter 1 and the first 2 boosters, which was really, really sad.
They're so hard to find too.
Yes. Oh my gosh, yes. If you couldn't ignore Fusion, Joggers different. Joggers. Yeah. That's an important note. Joggers and Fusion are not the same thing. Fusion is a completely separate mechanic in this game. So Joggers is fine to bypass, as Hobo Joe pointed out there. Okay, so now we are done with evolving. That means we move on to battle. And so now appearances would happen. There's not going to be any appearances with this deck. Any effects that start at the beginning of battle would happen. We don't have any of those. So we go right into looking at our powers. So right now, Zudomon is working with a power of 390 because he's fighting a B-type Digimon, while Pumpmon is working with is it an 8? 478?
Yeah, it's kind of fuzzy, isn't it? Maybe it's 475.
Like, that actually sounds familiar. I am almost positive that it's that way in the American version too. And whatever it is, whether it's an 8 or a 5, that's really weird because most of these end in 0. So, neat. Either way, that's obviously more than 390. So at this point, I would be losing. However, if Zudomon was able to use his A-type ability instead, 490, that would put me above Pumpmon, which would be pretty nice. So the priority is right now to me. Since I'm second to attack, I can choose to play an option card, and I will play one at a time. That's a very important part. We exchange one at a time the option cards that we play. So I'm going to choose to unveil this one right here. So that's offense plugin A. That makes me use my A move no matter what. So I have 490 right now, whereas he has 478. So at this point, I have the bigger number. And priority passes to Neo to choose to play one of his option cards if he so chooses.
Man, I wish I had that C option.
It's a lot more useful than you think it is, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Unfortunately, I do not think I have anything that would benefit me.
Oh my goodness. So at this point, he can't play anything. He would choose to pass. I could still play option cards if I wanted to. I don't. Then there would be no reason for me to at this point. Hobo Joe confirms Pumpmon's A is 478. How bizarre. I wonder why. And so there we go. So we're done playing option cards. And at this point, we move on to the point calculation phase. So we are working with 490 versus 478. Zudomon won this time. Good job, Zudomon. So now Neo will lose points based on what Pumpmon says on it. So Pumpmon says when he loses against a perfect level, you lose 10 points. So there you go. There we go. So now we're both at 90. That's nice. And then, unfortunately for Neo, Pumpmon goes away into the dark area, and Gabumon is all that is left. Now, a fun thing about this is if we look at Gabumon right here, his A-type move is 350, whereas Zudomon's B move is 390. So if I didn't have any modifiers and he was just able to get a little bit more powerful, Gabumon could still defeat Zudomon. That's the fun thing about this game, is a level 3 Digimon can be a perfect or an ultimate, which is why you have the scoring down there for that. So if I lost to a level 3 Digimon on here, I'd lose 30 points. So you're more punished for losing with more powerful Digimon, which is a fun, unique mechanic of Hyper Colosseum and the way that it works. So the points are calculated. I send my option card offline because that's what it says in its requirements. It goes away as soon as I'm done using it. And at this point, since I won the battle, priority is mine, so I will be the first to attack. And so my preparation phase, I choose to discard any cards I want. Absolutely not. I want to keep these. So I'm going to draw 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go. That's some good looking stuff. One of them's currently useless for me, unfortunately, but is a very good card in other situations. And so what I'm going to do for my preparation phase is I'm going to turn this guy over. I'm going to put him right up here. Although, you know what? We've got this guy too. Ooh, we have options. Hold on. Yeah, here's what we're going to do. We're going to take that back, actually. Sorry. We're going to send that back to the top of my hand. All right, and we're going to put down this guy instead, because as you can see here, his requirement is that I would need to have my guy plus another Digimon to Jogress with. I don't have that other Digimon to Jogress with, but I do have this card, which you can see there that it says I can Digivolve into a Digimon of the next level with either winning percentage 60% or Jogress evolution and its evolution requirement. In the case of Jogress, treat this card as one of the component Digimon. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to turn this over. I did both cards turn over. That's neat. I'm going to play that as my option, and I'm going to play that as my evolution. And again, this is an option because it has a little bomb in the top left corner. As far as other option cards, I'm not going to play this one right now because it would not benefit me in the slightest. So I'm going to leave that right there. And I will now pass the turn over to Neo. Go ahead.
So since my Digimon lost, the tag says can be discarded by you when your Digimon loses a battle. So I'm going to go ahead and discard it.
Okay. Goodbye, tag.
For the dark area. Over. Dark area. Alright. And then move him over. Let's see what this is. Okay. I will go ahead and draw 3 cards and discard none.
Okay.
Okay. And I'll place down this option card, slot 3. And that will be the end of my prep phase.
Okay, so you will not be doing any evolving this time around.
No.
Okay, there we go. So now we move on to the evolution phase. Since I am first to attack, I would reveal my evolution first. So I will turn it over. We have Plesiomon. And where'd my card go? Oh, it's right there. I don't know why I didn't see that. Okay, so I turn over this card. So we have, what's the official name of this? Super Evolution Plugin S, which allows me to evolve into a Jogress Digimon without requiring that the other part. So Plesiomon can evolve from Zudomon with Waymon Perfect. So this is basically my Waymon Perfect in this case. So I'm going to go ahead and place him on top. We're going to send Zudomon to the top of the dark area. We're going to bring Plesiomon out, and Plesiomon happens to have a activation ability, which is that he regains I regain 30 points when I evolve into this Digimon. Now, I'm almost positive of this, but I'm not 100% certain in this case. I cannot gain more than I cannot get over 100 points. That's my cap. If we were playing with the official playmat, it only goes up to 100. So I'm not going to be giving myself 120 points. Instead, I'm just going to be bringing myself back up to a full 100 in this case. And there we go. So that's nice. So that's Plesiomon's special little ability right there. Okay, so he's good. So the card here, this gets sent to the dark area at the end of the evolution phase. So that's the end of the evolution phase since there is nothing on Neo's side. So we're sending that to the dark area. Goodbye. All right, and so we move on to the battle phase. And at this point, since Neo is second to attack, then he will decide whether or not he wants to play an option card.
A quick question.
Yes, go right ahead. Also, real quick, good night, base. Thank you for joining us, and now continue.
Yeah. All right. So in an attacker and defender scenario, when a draw happens, what happens in that situation?
So if a draw occurs, then everything kind of just nothing happens basically. So, but both Digimon remain on the field. No one gets discarded, and no one gets or loses points, and the turn order remains the same as whatever it was the previous round.
Okay. All right. So I think I'm probably just going to take the loss at this point.
Okay. All right. So you're not playing any cards. Now that does pass priority over to me, so I can still choose to play an option card if I so choose. I don't, because right now my B is 480, whereas his B is 240, so I am double what he is. So I'm not too worried about that. So in this case, Plesiomon, since he has the bigger number, does win. Gabumon does not go offline because he is a level 3 and level 3s cannot be sent offline, but Neo does lose 10 points for being hit by an ultimate Digimon. All right, and that moves us on to the next phase. Since I won, I still have the priority here, so I can choose to discard any cards I wish to. And now here's where an important part of the game comes in. You'll see my Net Ocean currently has 12 cards in it. Those cards represent my Digimon's lifespan, and if at any point I run out of Net Ocean, then my Digimon will die at the end of that turn, meaning it will be returned back into a level 3 Digimon. Now, I don't want that to happen, so I have to be careful about how much I choose to discard, and I should only really do so if I think it's going to benefit me in some way. So I think I will discard something, just because I would prefer to get 3 cards rather than 2, and I don't need this winning percentage 40% right now. It won't help me with anything, and I have another one in there that I can get later if needs be. So I'm going to draw back up to 6, so I need 3 cards. 1, 2, 3. Okay, cool. That wasn't helpful at all. But it's fine. I've still got a powerful Digimon, so I'm not too worried about it. So I am now going to pass the prep phase over to Neo.
Alright, I will also not discard, and I will... Or wait a second. I might take that back. What's this guy? Yeah, I'll discard one.
Okay.
And then... So that's 4. So I draw 2. Some cool art.
Oh,
So-
Joe corrected me on something. If there is a draw, then both players lose 10 points and the Digimon remain as is. So, okay, my mistake there.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for that. I am not. I should clarify. I'm not a master of this game by any means. So anyone if you have corrections at any point, please let me know. I, like many other people here, are just kind of trying to learn this game as we go. Basically, I've been playing it for a few months now, so I know a bit, and I'm still learning stuff in it. It's hard to know everything in this. That is for sure. But I hope to get to that point.
Yeah. It definitely is a complex card game, but it's not like overwhelmingly complex.
It's not. No, it's honestly the most complex thing about it is that the rules are all in Japanese, and that's basically it. The card game itself is relatively straightforward. I certainly consider it much easier to learn than Magic, for example. I consider it much easier to learn than the Pokemon card game. I'd say it's probably on par with Yu-Gi-Oh! As far as difficulty goes, which I don't consider Yu-Gi-Oh! A difficult game, personally. So it's definitely got a nice low barrier to entry, as long as you've got a good write-up of the rules. So,
all right. So, can I discard an option card during my prep phase?
yes. So any cards that you have currently in your option slots, you can get rid of them and put something else there instead. You may also choose to rearrange them if you want.
So that.
Sifu says, bit of a far cry from Magic the Gathering. Absolutely. Which is, yeah, it's interesting. Like, obviously, like, the Pokemon card game borrowed a lot from Magic as far as its mechanics go, but Digimon really just kind of, really did its own thing, which I commend it for. I'm not going to say it was a roaring success by any means. I do technically like playing Magic more than I like playing Digimon, but it's still just interesting. It's a very unique card game overall, and that definitely says something on its own.
It kind of gives me like a vibe of Digimon World 1 meets Season 3, where like you have these option cards to boost everybody, but then you also have like that lifespan you have to worry about.
Yes.
And then you also can evolve into things that don't really make sense in the evolution order, like World 1.
So that's the funny thing is, you're not a VPET enthusiast like I am, right?
Well, okay, I do own the 20th anniversary one that came out in game stores recently.
Awesome. So that was one of my big things that I liked about the card game. Was that you mentioned Digimon World 1, and you're absolutely right to do so, because it's based a lot on that, and that's because Digimon World 1 had basically the same inspiration as the card game, which was the original Virtual Pets. So that whole lifespan thing, you know, I'm used to raising Digimon and letting them go from baby to ultimate and then dying, and that's why the lifespan thing exists in this game, for example. Same with a lot of the fields, like Deep Savers and Wind Guardians, it's straight out of the pets. So most of the weird evolutions you see, like, oh, Piomon evolves into Leomon, why? It's just because it's how it was in the pet. Something
Right.
like super endearing to me in the card game because of that.
Oh, that's a huge, awesome discussion for another time. But
you know what? Actually, that's a good point. I should do a whole thing about that.
yeah, I would love to be there for that discussion, because just going off on how I love how parameters dictate what you become versus set things.
Oh yeah,
That's just based on level. You know what I'm saying?
oh
Like
yeah.
it's so much better in my opinion. But anyways, back to this. I think I have a little trick up my sleeve. I'm gonna try and pull off for the viewers here. Let's see
Ooh.
if I can pull it off.
See,
I replaced an option card with another, and now I believe that's the end of my prep phase.
great. So that moves us on to evolution. I'm an ultimate level, and I obviously didn't put anything down for evolution, so I'm not evolving. I see you didn't put anything down for evolution either, so I assume it's safe to assume that you're not evolving either.
Correct.
Okay, and that moves us on to the battle phase, where priority is now Neo's to choose to play any option cards, or one option card that he wants before passing it over to me, and so on and so forth.
All right. I will use this plugin.
Okay, so we got an offense plugin A, which means that despite the fact that Gabumon is fighting a B-type, his power is now 350, compared to my current 480. So now I choose whether or not I want to do anything about that, so I'm fighting a B-type as well, but the card in my option slot happens to be a high-speed plugin B, which would be useless in this case, because I am already using my B-type move, so I have nothing I can do. I pass it back to Neo, who can then choose to play another option card.
And I shall use this one.
I'm about to make you sad.
Oh no.
I know. So this card right here is one of the best cards in the game. Absolutely. Especially the early part of the game. It's very, very powerful. It doubles your Digimon's attack. But there's the one little clause at the end of it that makes it not
it's level
perfectly
3.
useful.
I didn't see that last little
Yes.
line
So
of text.
if you so choose, I would absolutely allow you to turn those both back over and just leave it at that, because yeah, that's one that trips up a lot of people, especially because we're not reading these cards directly in English. Like, we have to hold the translate button, and so it's like, yeah, it's that's one I got tripped on my first time I used it too. Absolutely, it's very easy to. There's a few cards like that. I once built an entire deck around 6 option cards that I absolutely could never use. And
oh no,
I was like, okay, that was a terrible idea, because I went to play it the first time and I'm like, oh, this requires an ultimate with less than 500 power. I don't have that. So
so it almost worked out for you guys. My bad.
almost. But let's say you get a nice level 4 Digimon next turn and you evolve into it, then that would be absolutely like an amazing turn of events right there. So so since nothing's being done as far as options go, I assume you didn't want to play a different option that might help you out differently?
No.
Okay.
I'll just take another hit.
So there we go. So point calculation, he takes another 10 there. That'll bring him down to 70. I'm currently at 100. I should also say, the normal pace of these games, it's usually about a 30 to 45 minute game. Obviously, it's going to take longer since we are not only saying everything we do and explaining all the different intricacies, but I keep going, onto random tangents as well. So it's this will take a bit longer to demonstrate, but by the end of it, you should have a good idea of what, and by you, I mean everyone watching, a good idea of what you're all doing. So, all right, so that brings us back to the preparation phase. So I want to get in there. So I look at my hand, I decide what I want to do. My net ocean, again, is shrinking, which is sad. But I still don't have any good power option cards down, so I'm going to go ahead and just get rid of... Man, who do I want to get rid of? We'll get rid of this guy. Well, actually, I mean, this guy's not going to do me any good at this point anymore, so we'll get rid of him. Goodbye. I'll miss you. I do love you so much, but I can't have you right now. And we'll draw one card. Useless. Sweet. All right, so I'm not putting anything down in my evolution for evolution. I'm not putting anything down for options, so priority is now Neos.
All right. Let's see.
While you're doing that, I'm going to comment on what Tribble said earlier. So far, it sounds a bit like what I remember from the old rulebook I had back then. So here's the funny thing. So we mentioned this game being released in America, but it was released in a very different way, which is funny because if you just look at these, you see the battle types and you see the 3 different attacks, and you're like, oh, it's the same idea. But they changed something fundamental in the way things worked, which is the way the powers were distributed. So in Hyper Colosseum, you have A, B, and C, which are always strongest, middle, and weakest in that order. And because A goes to 0 when using a C-type move for the other opponent, it balances out pretty much perfectly. So that A's are always going to be, stronger than... A's are stronger than C's, B's are stronger than A's, and C's are stronger than B's. So that's just how it works out, basically. So they did that in America. They changed it, but they didn't change it properly. If they had just made one more little step, it would have worked. But basically, both virus and vaccines, which I guess would be green or reds and yellows, they were triangles and squares. I don't know. Whatever they were, I'm calling them viruses and vaccines. Both viruses and vaccines had their virus move as their strongest, which kind of broke the power tree a little bit in the favor of data Digimon. So it was thus immediately unbalanced and gross, which was sad. All right.
Let's see. I will discard 1 top of dark area and draw 2.
Okay. Neo's working with 12 cards in his Net Ocean right now, so his lifespan's a little bit stronger than mine at the moment. Which again, once my Net Ocean does run out, I will be forced to get rid of Plesiomon and go back to Gomamon. Oh yeah, that's the other fun thing about the American version. You have 10 cards in your hand out of 30 in your deck. It's insane.
That's crazy. Also, I want to point out that earlier you said that at the end of the lifespan, your Digimon dies.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, Digimons don't die; they fade. All right, don't kill my childhood. All right.
Sure, Wizardmon just faded away and is hanging out somewhere. Although that's technically true, he is hanging out at the Fuji TV station for a while until they put an end to that too.
He's faded. All right.
Yeah, he faded.
Alright, let's see if I can pull this off. So we're gonna try get that.
Ooh, there we go. There's an evolution.
And then alright, I can't do that. So with my requirements being 2 circles,
yes.
I pulled them 2 vertically from the Net Ocean.
Yes, just make sure that turnover button first, because it otherwise we'll just play him face up. It doesn't change the way it looks on the Net Ocean, but it does change the way it appears. So it's a little confusing in that way.
Oh, okay, I see.
Yeah, there you go.
And I shouldn't be able to see them, like you said.
Now, fun fact, I finally got to the bottom of this today. So, vertical cards mean regular growth. Horizontal mean irregular growth. Which, okay, fine. But what does that mean as far as mechanics go? And basically not a lot, but I found that there's at least 2 cards, which I totally misunderstood the purposes of at first, where you can change your opponent's evolution requirements to make them horizontal instead of vertical or vice versa. And in so doing, you basically prevent them from being able to evolve because they no longer have the correct requirements. So that's a fun, mean thing you can do. But otherwise, it's just basically visual. So, okay, so Neo's got 2 evolutions up, and he's got the requirements for both right there. And will you be doing anything else with your preparation?
No, I will not. That would be it.
Great. We move on to evolution. I do not have any evolutions to handle, so now Neo will go ahead and take care of his.
Alright, so you mentioned him just a second ago, but here he is.
Hey, he's back from being faded away.
And then these 2 cards are sent to the dark area without me knowing what they are, supposedly.
Supposedly. Even though they pop up gigantic on the left.
And then, we're gonna do a little warp here. That,
Ooh, look at that guy.
Death Merrimon. And
That's right, Tribble. 2 evolutions at the same time. That's another fun thing about this version is you can do as many evolutions as you can support the requirements for.
Yes. And I was right to put the program card, right?
Yes, that's exactly right, because
The
that one's got a
winning
disc in the top
percentage, 40.
left, so it goes in the power
Yes.
charge, not as a power option.
Okay. Alright. And then we're going over here. I'm going to turn that over. It's in the top of the dark area. So we got Death Merrimon out. Over. Dark area.
Okay, so that's bad news for me, obviously, because I know one of his cards that he has. I shouldn't know it, but I do. So he's got Death Merrimon going on over here, who's got a B of 440. Now I have a B of 480, so I am technically still winning, but now we move on to the battle phase, where Neo may reveal one of his option cards.
Yeah, now we're doing the cool thing.
Yeah, it's happening.
So, I changed my attack to A with the offense plug-in A,
Oh boy.
and it goes to you.
Okay, so at this point, I could choose to change my thing to B with my face down card, but that won't do me any good. So right now, that would mean I have an attack of 480, and he has an attack of 480, and I pass priority back over to Neo.
And then I can finally use this guy correctly.
There it is!
Ba-ba-da-ba.
So this card will now double Neo's attack power if he is a level weaker than my Digimon, which he is. He is a perfect level. I am an ultimate. So his 480 now jumps all the way up to 960, which is insane. And that's how this game works, basically. It's not always about the stronger Digimon. In fact, it's rarely about the stronger Digimon, but rather what options you're supporting those Digimon with. So I already passed playing power options, so I can't play another one even if I wanted to, because I already passed. And this means that the final number of this battle is 960 versus 480, which obviously means I lose. And I look at the bottom of Plesiomon here. And
Is that 20 or 30?
I'm pulling it up in here, and it is a 20 in this case. Yeah, I know.
Okay.
Looking at the artwork, or although you know what, it almost it's a 20. Okay, but as far as the written thing goes, it is a 20. I wish we had better
Yeah, I
scans.
see it now.
I absolutely wish we had better scans. But looking at the text, it says P20, so that means I will lose 20 points for losing at this point. So I'm going to come over to my point gauge. I'm going to do minus 20. Oh, okay, hold on. Why did I go all the way to negative 10? It should be at 80. Oh, I said set 2. My bad. There you go. I can use a simple number button. Alright, so I'm at that. And since I was killed, Plesiomon goes offline. Send to the top of the dark area. There he goes. And I am left with cute little Gomamon to fight this large, scary man breathing fireballs. Alright. And the option cards that Neo had, he's already discarded them. They're gone. His Digimon did not die, so it remains. And we move on to the preparation phase with Neo going first.
Alright. I choose to not discard, and I will draw 3 cards.
Bobo Joe says, say that to Honey Beamon, who has the ability, have the opponent's final attack power after taking into account effects and abilities. So that's the fun thing, is in the initial sets, there weren't a lot of Digimon abilities. Most of them were on ultimate levels, and the majority of those were just to regain life points. So it was never really much about abilities in the early game, but later on those became much more important. So even if your Digimon's power may not have been great, its ability may have been enough to really do something special. And then support abilities, that's a whole other thing, which is, let's just say I have a support ability in one deck that lets one of my Digimon just get 600 points for no reason. And yeah, if that sounds broken to you, don't worry. The entire line of X cards are incredibly broken. What makes them fun?
This option card. Alright. I believe that will end my prep phase.
Okay, so here we go. So that brings it to my prep phase. I have 6 cards in my hand, but my Net Ocean has only 8, so again, I want to be careful. At this point in the game, I am not likely going to get back up to Ultimate before I die. And so I'm not going to try to aim for that. That would be silly, because that would just be mostly a big waste and make me go through cards faster than I need to. So instead of that, I'm going to change my strategy up a little bit here. So I'm looking at this guy right here. I've got something I can evolve into using Irregular Evolution. Now that's going to get rid of 2 cards from my Net Ocean right away. So again, I don't want to use up too many. Basically, by doing this, I'm going to bring myself down to 2 cards total by the beginning of my next turn. So we're going to put this guy face down. What's this guy do, by the way? Okay. We're going to put this guy face down. And I'm doing him specifically because of his, of the battle type we're fighting. And I'm going to turn over this one. And I'm going to put this right up here. And I need to send 2 cards from the top of my Net Ocean face down and sideways. Turn over. Right click and turn 1. Or, that didn't do it.
Turn 2?
Turn 2? Oh, okay. What does turn 1 do? Okay.
Maybe turn it back upward.
Oh, that's probably what it is. Probably untap. Okay, so we've turned both of these sideways to use for this guy's evolution requirements. And going back to my hand, in which I have 4 cards left, none of which I particularly need, I will go ahead and we'll pass into the evolution phase. So, Neo, you do not have any evolutions, is that correct?
Correct.
Cool. So that means it is my turn to evolve. So we'll turn this over. We have Octomon, and we're going to place him on top of Gomamon. Send these 2 guys to the top of the dark area. Didn't look at them. They popped up, but I didn't look at them. All right, so now that's done, so we move on to the battle phase. And since I lost last time, I'm the second to attack, and therefore I play my option cards first. So looking at this, we have Death Marimon here, who has against me 230, and I have against him 390. So I'm actually sitting pretty good right now overall, and I would win against this Death Marimon if nothing happened. But I cannot count on that. If I pass right now, I will not get another chance to play more option cards. So to be safe, I will be playing an option card. And it's a pretty familiar one. Let's turn that over. There we go. Counterattack. So that doubles my attack since I am lower level than the opponent Digimon. So my attack currently is, what would that be? 180. That'd be 780 right now. So I'm at 780. Sorry, math is not my strong suit. 780 versus his 230. So I'm looking good right now. Neo, would you like to play an option card?
Doesn't look like any cards I have will actually work. So looks like I get some Octomon oil squirted in my face.
That's right. So I'm going to use whatever the heck my second move is. We'll just say that Octomon oil. There we go. So I shoot that, and so now Death Marimon will be tossed away. And wow, his loss points are not nice.
No, they are not.
They are not.
Is it
Normally,
30?
if it's only one level above, you lose 20, but poor Death Marimon here, he loses a full 30 from a level 4 Digimon's attack. So, so there we go. So, oh, yeah, okay. So Neo goes down in points and sends Death Marimon to his grave, while I send my counterattack card to the top of my dark area. That is no longer useful for me. And as you can see, that counterattack is one of the more useful cards in the early game for sure. Even later on, it's pretty good, but it's pretty dang good. And that's why there are 2 of them in each of our decks. Okay, so that moves us on to the next preparation phase. So once again, I'm running out of cards. My net ocean is at 6, and I have to think carefully. Do I want to discard anything? And to be honest with you, I kind of really don't want to discard anything. Winning percentage. Yeah, that won't do me any good. So I'm just gonna go ahead and draw, and we'll see what happens here. Or the other option would be is I could discard something and just bring myself closer to death faster, which would also be good. This guy right here is going to be useful. Let's just get rid of him. Send a dark area. This I don't believe any more use for. And no, yeah, send him to dark area too. Get out of here. We don't need you. We got this guy. All right, so I'm drawing 4 cards, leaving me with 2. Okay, I think that was actually a good choice. I am happy with my decisions that I have made this day. All right, so at this point, evolving would not benefit me greatly, so I am not going to evolve. Instead, I will just turn over 1 card from my hand, place it as a power option, and I will now pass it over to Neo.
Alright. I will discard 2 cards. And draw 3. Of course, nothing I can use. And alright. Yeah, that'll be the end of my prep phase.
Okay, so Neo is not evolving, I'm not evolving, so we can skip right past the evolution phase and go right into the battle phase. Neo is second to attack, so now he may choose to turn over either of his option cards at this point. So go right ahead if you so choose.
Nope.
Okay, so then I look at my Octomon here. I'm going to decide, so Gabumon is 150 against me, whereas I am 390 against Gabumon. And since Neo is already past playing option cards, that means I shouldn't have to either. So I'm not going to. And that would mean that Octomon has won that battle. Do you agree?
Yes.
Okay, there we go. So Gabumon stays on the field. Neo loses 10 points, and we move on to prep with me starting. I will not be discarding any cards from my hand because I am now 1 away from my lifespan ending. So I will, or I'm 2. Now I'm 1 that I've drawn 1. Hey, there's that guy. And I will not be playing anything else. We're gonna let Octomon live out as long as we can let him live. So you may go ahead and do your prep phase.
Alright, we're going to discard or send 2 to the dark area. Actually, I'm gonna send 3.
Ooh, sending a full 3.
And so that means I'll draw 3.
fun fact, if I remember correctly, in the American version, you'd pretty much discard everything you had on your side of the field once your lifespan ended immediately. But in this version, the original version, the end of lifespan happens at the end of your turn. So if you don't have anything in your net ocean at that point, that's when you do it. If you're run out of cards before the end of your turn, you still continue play as normal until that end.
Mm-hmm. And I put down an option card in slot 3. And it is now your turn.
Excellent. All right, so we are good on prep. Neither of us are evolving, and it means we'll move right into battling, where Octomon still has the advantage as far as pure numbers. Neo, being second to attack, will now choose to unveil one of his options.
Nope. I will go ahead and take it.
Not playing an option, so I'm not playing any options either. That means that the battle is Octomon's again. Neo lost his 10 points, and we move on to the next prep phase, where I will not be discarding and will be not doing anything else. So, Neo, your preparation.
Alright. I will discard one option card on the field. Or no, I need to do my hand first. That's right.
Yes.
I guess I'll just draw my last card. Is that...
So that means at the end of this, once you draw your last card, at the end of this turn, you will then lose your lifespan and reshuffle your deck. That doesn't happen right away, so we'll still have this one battle to go through. And after that point, that's when poor Gabumon will revert back to an egg, evolve through Punimon and Unomon, and become Gabumon once more.
Gotcha. Alright.
Christian is asking a question in the chat about the black dots on Seelamon's card. So I assume you're talking about the dots at the top of the card in what we would call the evolution box. Those cards are those symbols are his requirements. Each of those dots represent regular growth, whereas if they were X's would be irregular growth. And the number of dots or X's is the number of cards that you have to discard from the top of your net ocean. So in this case, if Seelamon was to evolve from Gomamon, you would need to take 2 cards from the top of your net ocean as requirements and then discard them after the evolution takes place. If you played the American version, they just said offline 2 cards is the way that they referred to it. Okay, so Neo has drawn his cards. Will you be playing anything?
I think I will discard my slot 2 option.
Okay.
To the dark area. And put out a new option card. Okay.
So I'm going to change the card so that everyone's not just staring at Seelamon the whole time. There we go.
And then, I will end my prep phase.
Cool. So evolutions go by with no evolutions occurring. We are now in battle. So Neo, do you wish to play an option card?
Yes.
Okay, let's see what you got. Ooh. He's got the high-speed plug-in B, which will mean Gabumon's attack power is now 240 compared to Octomon's 390. So right now, Octomon technically still has a bigger number, but I'm going to look to see just in case I don't have any cards that'll help me. So I'm going to pass playing my option card, so Neo now has the ability to play another card.
Alright. And I will use this guy.
So, same story with that one.
Right.
Yep.
That's...
Gotcha.
Sorry.
No, like I said, it is confusing, because it's just that one rare situation is where it doesn't work. So, and you can turn that B back over if you want to. And I'm not gonna. This is just demonstration.
So if I were to do that, say if we were doing like a tournament or something, and I made the mistake of using a B plugin, and it still resulted in a loss, even though you passed. Would I just discard the B at the end?
Yeah, basically. Like, the effect, it would still take place. Again, in a tournament setting where, like, every action you take is, like, it's just taken, no matter what. So if that happened, yeah, you'd still be a B. That would occur, you'd still lose, and that card would go away, basically. So, but this is not a tournament, this is a demonstration, and I'm not about to be that guy. So yeah, you can turn that right back over. If there's no other option cards you want to play, then the battle will resolve.
Yep.
All right, and then so you lose 10 more points there. So Neo's down to 10 points. So this could be close to the end, but Neo's about to have something happen here that's going to benefit him greatly. And this is where his net ocean is completely depleted. So his Digimon dies. Gabumon's dead now, but he's come back immediately because he was raised really well. And so he's now his level 3 self. If there were any Digimon on top of Gabumon, they would be discarded. And now Neo will shuffle his dark area and place it back into his net ocean. So he'll be back up to 20 cards in his net ocean. And there we go.
Extra shuffled. Alright. And then,
Okay, so now prep phase continues now that that's happened. I will still continue to not do anything and leave my net ocean at 1 card, as I've been doing. And Neo will now choose to discard as normal and will draw back up to 6 from his brand new net ocean.
let's see if this will work or not. I'm going to discard 3
Okay.
to the dark area.
Yeah, the fun mechanic is that while the lifespan ending may seem like a negative thing, it can be beneficial in certain circumstances, especially one like this, where you may have an opponent who doesn't want his lifespan to end, so he doesn't lose certain benefits he has. But you can essentially read all yours, get new cards that will help you win, and then you'll be at an advantage once his lifespan ends, because you'll already be ahead of him at that point. So it helps keep the game going in both directions, helps keep both sides have a way to balance each other out, basically. Unlike Magic, where, you know, you get 20 creatures out of a certain variety with a nice couple of enchantments, and if your opponent didn't have anything, then that's it. It's they're not going to be able to come back from that, you know, unless they have something really cool up their sleeve. Speaking of Unsanctioned comes out tomorrow. I've already seen a friend of mine post that they found it in one of their game shops nearby, so keep an eye out. It's always fun. The whatevers. I like those Magic decks. They're fun. This time it came out weirdly, as it's like 5 30-card decks that you put 2 together to make a 60-card instead of a draft like it normally has been. So I'm gonna try it out. We'll see what happens with it. Hey, look at that. We got some irregular growth happening.
Yep. Let's see if this will work out in my favor. Alrighty.
No more preparation from you?
That is the end of my prep. Yep.
Okay, so we move on to evolution. I don't have any to evolve, so go right ahead with yours. Ooh, Centaulamon. Okay, so we have him out. He's got a big old laser blast happening. That's pretty cool. Let's zoom in on him there. So he's got 450 for his A, 350 for his B, but he's only got 200 for his C, which means Octomon may still be safe, assuming that no power options get played, but we know how that works, don't we? So I've got 390 for my B compared to his 360. No other evolutions are occurring at this time. We'll move on to the battle phase. Neo, you may unveil one of your options. Okay, so there we got high speed plug-in B, meaning Centaulamon is now at 360. Octomon is currently at 390. So while I'm still in the lead here, it may behoove me to play a power option, but neither of my power options are usable in this case. Well, one is, but it's not going to do me any good. So I will pass back to Neo, who can now play another power option if he so chooses. So...
Oh, right. I have to be lower than you.
Yeah, lower than me. What about the other one?
The one that's been there this entire time.
Does it help
I don't actually know how to use that one.
Oh, yeah? Well, let's see. Because if you lose right now, that's the end of the game. So let's see what that one is. Let's just see what it would do.
Yep.
Okay, so that one is specifically for evolution. Basically, I mean, honestly, if you have something that Centellamon could evolve into, like, do you have Nightmon in your hand right now?
No, unfortunately.
Okay, so it's not going to do you good in this case. It's an evolution aid, is what that is. So it allows you to use that instead of a winning percentage card or instead of a Jogger's component. So I used one earlier, for example, to become Plesiomon without having Waymon like I would normally have to have. So it's not quite a evolve free card, but it is a replacement for other evolution requirements. So unfortunately, it doesn't help in this case, which means the battle will resolve with Octomon having higher power than Centellamon, meaning Neo has lost his last 10 points.
Weep.
There we go. We got the winner is Gomamon and all his many different evolutions. Woo! All right. And there you go. That's a game of Hyper Colosseum. So hopefully this has been informative for everyone. Neo, thank you so much for coming on to do this with me, to help demonstrate this. This has been I enjoyed myself.
Yeah, I enjoyed it greatly as well. Thank you for having me.
Of course. And I will say Neo and I have been trying to fight for like weeks now. But apparently Neo only fights in the middle of the day and while I'm at work, and I only fight at night when he's usually not available. So it's not worked out great. So I'm glad that this has finally worked out in our favor.
My wife and I have our own YouTube where we're usually in the afternoon streaming like a Mega Man game or Digimon game or something.
That would do it. What is your YouTube channel, by the way? Let's let everyone know that.
Neo Strawberry.
Neo Strawberry. There you go. So if you want to hear more from Neo, see some sweet gameplay, go check out Neo Strawberry. Wrist, thank you very much for keeping an eye on things and for being here. Do you have anything you want to add or any questions you saw from doing this? Because you haven't played using Lackey yet, right?
No, I've only looked at it, really.
Gotcha. So I don't know. Do you think this has helped you at all, watching this go down?
Yeah, like some people have been saying, the complexity is more like Vanguard-ish, where it isn't too hard once you get like all the basics down.
Which I still have no idea what Vanguard is. Everyone talks about it a lot, but I've never tried it out, so I still need to do that.
Yeah, I'll show you, I guess.
Heck yeah. And I don't know if Sam's still here. Sam, are you still here? His icon is there. Sam was supposed to fight me, but unfortunately got held up at work. So bummer. We fought before. He's a good guy. We'll fight again sometime for sure. So yeah, this has been how to play Hyper Colosseum in Lackey. It's great. It's a great time. We got a whole Discord for this kind of thing. The Digimon Hyper Colosseum Discord. The link to that is in the description of this video, and this video will remain up after the end of this stream, so you can always come back and still get that link or watch any of this again if you want to. If anyone has additional things they want to ask, please feel free to leave them as comments once the video is, or once the stream's over. I always go back and I will reply to those and give you any direction there. And yeah, thank you so much everyone for watching. This is a fun time. I hope this has helped some of you want to get into this, because we're always looking for more people to play. And it's a good time. 100% free. You don't got to pay for this, and you get every single freaking card in the game. So hopefully see some of you in the Discord, and I will talk to you later. Goodbye.
See ya.
Bye.